All right, we're good to go here. So we're starting things off here. Joel gets the play. He was our first seed. So he is starting things off here with the Blooming Marsh and an Inquisition of Kozilek. We take a look at Tim's hand. We see Cavern Souls, Windswept Heath, Thought-Knot Seer, Island, Ancient Stirrings, Noble Hierarch, Reality Smasher. Have to imagine if it's me, I'm probably taking away this Noble Hierarch. My opponent's going to have a turn 1 play regardless. Taking away Noble Hierarch at least takes away the possibility of a turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer. Now, of course, if he has a kill spell for the Noble Hierarch, it's not as big of a deal. But so Tim plays out that Windswept Heath. Sure enough, the Hierarch was taken. We're going to fetch away our Heath immediately. Good chance that we're grabbing some sort of dual land here. Yep, sure enough, we're going to grab a Temple Garden, so down to 17. And we're likely going to see him fire off that Ancient Stirrings. We want to have something on turn 1 still, and this lets you do that. And yep, sure enough, there's the Stirrings. Let's take a look at 5 and put a colorless card into our hand. Jay, to answer your question there on the meta today, there was some Affinity, there was some Elves. There was no Death Shadow as far as I know, and there was no Dredge. If there was, it was near the bottom of the tables, and I wasn't really keeping up with that, to be honest. A lot of it today seems to have been, there's a couple of Eldrazi decks, a couple Merfolk decks. Aggro seemed to be the game plan today. Bant Eldrazi, Tim picks up another copy of Windswept Heath. The draw for Joel was a Terminate. He's going to go ahead, fetch away Verdant Catacombs, and then play a Dark Confidant. So a bit of card advantage getting going there for him. He's going to fetch out... let's see what's he going to get here. A Blood Crypt, so he's down to 17 as well. So Tim simply just plays a land and says go. Joel will attack in for 2, so Tim down to 15. I don't believe that I know I'm not. I don't think anyone from our store is going. We were originally looking into doing it, but we couldn't get a group together good enough, or not good enough, but we couldn't get a group together that was enough to commit that we could actually, cover it all. So. End of turn, Tim will fetch away. Liliana was the play for turn 3 from Joel there. The discards were Raging Ravine and Drowner of Hope. Left in Joel's hand, we have Kolaghan's Command, Tarmogoyf, and Terminate. So 3 good cards still in hand there. Not sure what Tim needs to get out of the situation. He goes and grabs a Hallowed Fountain for himself. Has access to all his colors now. No problems there. All right, Tim untaps. His draw for the turn was an Eldrazi Sky Spawner. It's not a bad one. Gives him a bit of protection against Liliana ticking down. We do know, of course... Oh, awesome. Thanks a lot, Beezy. It's good to know, man. Yeah, give a shout-out to On The Play Gaming there, for sure. So there is that Eldrazi Sky Spawner, accompanied by an Eldrazi Scion. Dark Confidant's going to reveal an Overgrown Tomb, and the draw for the turn was a Stomping Ground as well. So a couple of lands added to hand there for Joel. I didn't have any when the turn started, so that's not a bad pickup for him there. He's going to start by ticking up Liliana. He's going to discard the Stomping Ground, that Tim did not know about, of course. Thought-Knot Seer is discarded for Tim. Next turn, he does have Smasher mana with that Scion token. We're going to play a Tarmogoyf, and we're just going to say go. This leaves up Terminate mana, so the Smasher is not going to be the most effective. Right now in graveyards, we have land, sorcery, creature, and I think that's it. Okay, Tim goes ahead and plays out an island here. Tim decided what he wants to do here. Again, he does have a Reality Smasher in hand that he can play if he'd like. It would just require him to sacrifice that Scion. He's going to go ahead and do it. This is going to, I mean, it'll get a 2-for-1, of course, thanks to the ability of Reality Smasher. But again, Tarmo, if I'm not mistaken, is just a 3-4 right now. Yeah, both Liliana, not a surprise there. So looks like we're going to put both of these in front of the Reality Smasher, which is going to trade. This is going to add instant to the graveyard. Yeah, Joel pointing out the Terminate being added to the graveyard adds a 4th card type, so Goyf is now a 4/5, so Smasher can only 1-for-1. And yeah, and Terminate did take care of the Sky Spawner, so there is a second Smasher in hand for Tim. I don't know if he has a land or not, though. Interesting, he kills the Dark Confidant instead of killing the Goyf. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it does obviously stop Joel from drawing 2 cards a turn, but we're going to start it off by, it looks like bolting Tim potentially. He wants to use Liliana to go up, but he wants both the cards in his hand as well. So he's actually going to go ahead. He's going to pick one to discard. He's going to discard the bolt. I think that's fair. Tim will discard Blessed Alliance. No real impact there. Colgan's command is going to return Dark Confidant and make Tim discard a card. So Tim does lose the second Reality Smasher. Dark Confidant returns back to Joel's hand. Tim is now in a real tough spot. Thought Not Seer will get to exile Dark Confidant, but now we're in a spot where it's Thought Not Seer versus Liliana on 6 and Tarmogoyf. Liliana does tick down, not surprisingly, takes care of Thought Not Seer. In we come for 4 more damage at this point. Yeah. Another Dark Confidant comes down. Great spot here for the Jund player. Lethal is on board. And that's going to be it for this game 1. So Joel does take down game 1 here in the quarterfinals. Jund versus Bant Eldrazi. We're going to look towards the sideboard here. So we'll start with Tim. Tim gets access to 1 copy of Rest in Peace, 1 copy of Thragtusk, 1 Blessed Alliance, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Stony Silence, 2 Declaration in Stone. Interesting. 1 Negate, 1 Disdainful Stroke, 1 Flash Freeze, 1 Engineered Explosives, 1 Natural State, and 1 Stubborn Denial. Kind of a sampler sideboard here. For the Jund matchup, Rest in Peace, maybe. Thragtusk is good. Blessed Alliance, maybe can deal with a solo Goyf potentially. Grafdigger's Cage, not really useful. Stony Silence, no good. Deck and Stone, probably decent here. Good answer to Goyf. Bigger creatures as well. Negate, potentially. Disdainful Stroke, no. Flash Freeze, probably not. Explosives, probably not again. Natural State, I doubt it. And Stubborn Denial, again, maybe. Depends what counterspells you want to try to fight with. On the Jund side, Joel has access to 1 Chandra Torch of Defiance, 2 Kitchen Finks, 3 Fulminator Mage, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Nihil Spellbomb, 1 Ancient Grudge, 1 Damnation, 1 Shatterstorm, 2 Collective Brutality. On the Jund side, Chandra seems like she could be okay. She can answer a Thought-Knot Seer on her own. Kitchen Finks, probably not for this matchup. Fulminator Mages seem good. Grafdigger's Cages, no. Nihil Spellbombs, no. Ancient Grudge, no. Damnation, yes. Shatterstorm, no. Collective Brutality, no. So a few cards for both players to work with here. Not a whole lot. What don't I like? Yeah, Grim Lava Mancer seems like a dead card in the Joel's main deck. He's playing a 1 of in the main. I'm also not a giant fan of Abrupt Decay in the main deck for him right now. It's got some Royal. Olivia Loran's probably not very good either. Yeah, she could be okay. Still, Big Eldrazi's not bad, but. All right, so Tim will get the play here for game 2. Gonna have a quick little shuffle here. Let's see. He's got. What does Joel have to answer big creatures with? 3 Terminates and a Maelstrom Pulse. Liliana's are obviously good there too, but I feel like Tim is favored in this matchup. He just needs to get the right start, and if Jund gets to do its game plan of interruption in the early game, it's gonna really really slow down Tim's game plan here, and that's what we saw there game 1. Joel was able to turn 1 take away your ramp. He gained his own card advantage with Dark Confidant, of course, which just buried Tim, but excuse me. All right, so looking at our opening 7s here, Tim decides that his is not going to do. We're going to go down to 6. Joel deciding what to do with his here still. Joel looks to be set on his 7 here. He will keep his. Tim going to have a look here at 6 and hopefully find what he's looking for. You don't really want to go any lower than that against Jund especially, so. Liliana, Fulminator Mage did come in. We can see there in Joel's opening hand. Yep, so Tim has kept his 6. He'll scry. It goes down to the bottom. And we're going to start things off here with the Bant Eldrazi player. Forest into Ancient Stirrings. It's not the exact start he's looking for, but it'll do. Take a look here at 5. Which one do we want? He's got some choices to make here. We're going to pick up an Eldrazi Temple. Not a bad pickup. It doesn't let him actually cast anything bigger on turn 2 because there's a Forest in play. However, it's going to be some acceleration for potentially turn 3. Could have something like a Thought-Knot Seer. Depends what we're going to see here from Joel. Joel looks to have some sort of turn 1 play. And my guess is it's going to be an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize as he grabs out a basic Swamp here. Don't see him Fatal pushing nothing. Sure enough, it's a Thoughtseize, so Joel will be at 17 once this resolves. Tim shows his hand at Temple, Eldrazi Displacer, Cavernous Souls, a second Ancient Stirrings, and Yavimaya Coast. feel like you're probably taking the stirrings here. It just gives you a lot of more options to work with. Takes displacer, okay, sure. Okay. There's already a Maelstrom Pulse in hand for Joel, so he had an answer to the displacer. So Dark Confidant is going to be his play next turn, it looks like, though. So Tim takes a look here. He finds himself a Reality Smasher. Plays at his temple and says go. Liliana of the Veil was the draw there for Joel. Sacrifices his Verdant Catacombs. He's going to get some sort of land and play up Dark Confidant here. We'll see what land he decides to get. Gets a Stomping Ground. So down to 14 he goes. Tim will untap and draw. What do we have here? A second temple would be great, but he didn't reveal one, so he would have had to have drawn it naturally. And he did. All right, down comes a Smasher. In we come for 5. We're putting the pressure on early, so Joel down to 9 already. Dark Confidant, not a great blocker for Reality Smasher. He reveals a Bloodstained Mire and then draws a Bloodstained Mire. We do have the answer in a couple different ways. We have Liliana or we have Maelstrom Pulse. We're going to start by sacrificing this fetch land, of course. We're going to play Liliana, so he's going to get some sort of black source here. Does he have a second swamp in his main deck? He does, so we'll see if he grabs the basic swamp or a fetch land, or a shock land potentially. He grabs the swamp. Liliana ticks down immediately, kills off the Reality Smasher. Attack for 2 will bring Tim down to 18. Not a big problem there life total wise at the moment, so that's okay. We're going to go ahead and cast a third copy of Ancient Stirrings. These cards are great in the late game just because it gives you so many cards to just look at to take an extra card here. So he's going to find another copy of Reality Smasher. He has the land, we know that. Cavernous Souls, name's Eldrazi. In comes Smasher at Joel. Joel down to 3. No concern there for Liliana right now. She's only on 1. Dark Confidant. Looks like it revealed something that just killed him. I didn't quite see the reveal there. But we're heading to a game 3 very quickly there. Tim with a pair of Reality Smashers thanks to a pair of Eldrazi Temples. And a quick game 2 will see this going to a game 3. Kitchen Finks. Okay. That'll do it. That'll do it. So he did bring Kitchen Finks from the sideboard then. Okay. That's fine. It's a redundant threat that gains you some life, so I think that's a totally fair sideboard choice. The Displacer just seems like it didn't matter. Like his hand at the time when he took Displacer was Liliana and Maelstrom Pulse. So even if Tim goes, like, you know, he can't turn 2 it, and even if he can, I know what you're afraid of. Turn 3, he plays Displacer. You play your answer and you just kill it. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. Stirrings just gives you so much more action. Displacer is great against Jund, don't get me wrong. I mean, it blanks all the removal spells. It blanks their blockers or attackers. I don't think it's a bad card. I just don't think it was more important than that Ancient Stirrings. So, off we go to a game 3. Jund will be on the play here again, so Joel will hopefully, for his sake, have his way with some turn 1 interaction with either Inquisition or Thoughtseize again. He's had it both games 1 and 2 so far. We'll see if he can go 3 for 3. All right, so we're going to have a look here at opening 7. That was also a mulligan to 6 for Tim, so a pretty good 6 there. So Joel's going to have a look here at his 7. His hand looks to have some decent interaction. It doesn't have the turn 1 as far as I can tell, but it seems to have some other... It seems to have some good creatures. Has Dark Confidant, Liliana, so both players keep. I believe Tim has a turn 1 Noble Hierarch here. Sure enough, he does. So down to 19 he goes. Just a Raging Ravine, of course, for Joel. Olivia Valdarin has been left in. He drew the one of right there. Dark Confidant will come down here on turn 2 for Joel, along with, I believe, a Swamp probably was going to grab here. Yeah. So 19 all. Tim has his acceleration. Does he have something like a Temple? Does he have Thought on? Oh, this is the way to go. All right, this is the reason you play the Bant Eldrazi. So turn 2 Thoughtnaught's going to see Olivia Valdarin, Tarmogoyf, Liliana of the Veil, Fulminator Mage, and Terminate. So right now there is no third land for Joel at the moment. Lots of good choices here for Tim, however. I don't know, is Liliana the way to choose here just because... Or, sorry, is Terminate the one to choose here, I should say? Because Liliana can't be played just yet, he has to find exactly a black source. He'll have 2 looks at it, of course. There's a lot of good cards in Joel's hand right now. That is not what Tim wanted to see, I imagine, but he has a path in his hand. Yeah, this is a hard choice for Tim. He's going to take away Fulminator Mage. Okay, he wants to secure his mana. So Thought-Knot Seer is not going to survive. Liliana of the Veil is revealed to Dark Confidant, so Joel takes another 3. And his draw for the turn is a Maelstrom Pulse, so another 3-drop that he cannot cast. Terminate is going to kill this Thought-Knot Seer right away. He gets to draw a card for that. It's an Overgrown Tomb, so he found his 3rd land drop. And then he comes for 2. So Tim now at 17, Joel at 16. If Tim can capitalize with some of their big Eldrazi here, he could be in a great spot. Another Thought-Knot Seer would be pretty good. It wouldn't last, but we're going to start by Ancient Stirrings here. We're looking for something big. What do we find? We find a Brushland. That's not the most exciting one to find there. I don't think he needed land. He has in his hand, he has Drowners. I think he has a couple Drowners, in fact, which is going to be good if he can get to them, but he's still a mana away. So 4 mana is going to bring, 3 mana in this case, he's going to pay 2 life. He's going to get back his Ancient Stirrings and say go. So he wants to look for some more colorless cards. Dark Confidant will reveal a Raging Ravine, so no damage taken. Wooded Foothills was the draw after that, so a couple more lands there for Joel. So mana will no longer be an issue for him. This is an interesting game. A Parallel Liliana's in hand. Olivia Valdarin. A Tarmogoyf. Fetching away Wooded Foothills. What are we going to go find? So I think Tim knows the whole hand of Joel right now. Except for the Maelstrom Pulse. He doesn't know what that one. He goes ahead and grabs a Forest. So 15 all. Are we going to see Olivia Valdarin come down here? We are. Okay. So Tim already has the answer to that. He has a Path to Exile in his hand. No attack from Dark Confidant, of course. It's not worth trading that for an Eternal Witness, which I assume Tim would just snap off if you got the option. We're going to start with Ancient Stirrings again, so down to 14 goes Tim. And I don't imagine he's going to let his opponent untap with Olivia Valdarin here. He's short a red source of just wiping away Tim's board. Olivia Valdarin is not a card you see very much anymore. There, we'll bring her up on screen. There she is there. So the 3/3 Flying Vampire, 1 in a red, you get to ping a creature. It becomes a vampire, and you get to put a counter on her, so she gets to get big pretty fast. And also her other ability, pay 5 mana, you get to take control of a vampire for as long as you control her. Eldrazi Sky Spawner is going to come down as well here. We get a little Scion to go with it. Again, I have to imagine Tim's going to be setting off this Path to Exile. Can't imagine you want to let your opponent keep the Olivia Valdarin. I will put the bracket back up after Sebastian. We're just gonna. This is game 3 here, so we're gonna watch this one out here. But I have a bracket made up. You can see it afterwards. A couple Merfolk decks, some Jund, some Bant Eldrazi decks. Lots of fun stuff. Dark Confidant is going to trade off with Eternal Witness here. And then we're going to go ahead and post-combat, we're going to path away Olivia Voldaren. So down she goes. Tim in an okay spot here again. He's got access to, he's got quite a few creatures here. Liliana of the Veils, not as exciting now because of the Eldrazi Scion. Even the Noble Hierarch kind of makes it less exciting, so. Thoughtseize was the draw there for Joel. It's not a bad one. We'll get to have a look. Okay, yeah, we'll have a look right now. So Thoughtseize comes down. Joel down to 13. We're going to look at a Drowner of Hopes and an Engineered Explosives. I feel like we're probably taking away the Drowner right now, one of the two Drowners. That card is just a beating against Jund. He's only got an answer to one Drowner right now. Explosives isn't doing anything at the moment for Tim, so... And yeah, he's got 6 mana available, so Drowner is coming down next turn. Unless... No, you can't. There's no way you can get rid of all the mana on Tim's side of the field. So, yeah, he takes away one of the Drowners. That's absolutely the correct choice, I think. So, Raging Ravine, Tarmogoyf is where we're gonna go. It looks like Tarmogoyfs look pretty big right now, right? Creature, instant, sorcery, land. They're 4/5s. Okay. Killing Frenzy. Nobody in our top 8 is on Jeskai. I believe one player was in our tournament. We never saw him today, though, so I don't know how well he was doing. Liliana does come down and immediately ticks down. This is important as well because it's going to add a 5th card type to the graveyard. I think you might just be sacrificing Sky Spawner here, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine because you get Liliana here. Tim's gonna kill it. He doesn't know about the second one, obviously, in Joel's hand. He knows about the Goyf, so this does make his Goyfs a 5/6. Tim already found 6 mana regardless, so Drowner comes down. So we know the last card in Tim's hand right now is a copy of Engineered Explosives. 2 more Scions join the team. The draw was a Fatal Push. Not really that exciting at the moment. We can Maelstrom Pulse away all of these Scions. However, Tim should just sacrifice whatever one he targets. He's gonna Maelstrom Pulse away the Drowner, and then he's gonna play his Goyf. Leaves up Fatal Push. Liliana in hand along with that Fatal Push. So kind of in an interesting little spot now. Liliana is probably the biggest card to worry about for Tim. Oh, that's a great draw, though. Ancient Stirrings. Tim will take a point of damage for it, but he's totally okay with that. We're looking for something big here again. We're looking for either another Drowner of Hope, a Reality Smasher. Smasher's not great, actually. Tarmogoyf being a 5/6 just takes care of that. I think Tim right now is doing the math on how big the Goyf actually is. Cardboard Crackling, I don't believe... No, there is no blue-white in the top 8. Mike Day was not here today. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. We're working on getting things up and running here, so it's great to hear that. I love that. He's going to take a Reality Smasher. It's not the most exciting just because, again, Goyf is... Well, okay. Smasher attacking on its own does get bigger than Goyf. I have to imagine that if he does go for this Smasher here, we're going to see Joel Fatal Push the Noble Hierarch in response. Explosives on 2, though, is going to do a lot, actually, here. Tim does take another point of damage off his Brushland to do that. We're going to see him sacrifice the Explosives immediately, get rid of the Goyf. He's going to cash all this in for a Reality Smasher, and he comes for 6. So Joel down to 7. Unless he wants to push the Noble Hierarch, he does. He's thinking about it. Cardboard Crackling, thank you for that follow. We appreciate that, man. I will send you a 10% off discount code to top8gaming.com. Welcome to the channel. Thank you very much. Now, I'm not sure this is being done in response to, like, before combat is my guess, but Tim kind of put the Smasher in sideways. Liliana is going to answer the Smasher, and then we're going to be in a top deck mode. The advantage here, of course, goes to Joel because he does have Raging Ravines and Liliana. Just to pass the turn from Tim, he doesn't play the card in his hand. It makes me wonder what it is. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing there, Sebastian. I don't think there was really any need to crash in right away for that. He doesn't know about the second Liliana, of course. He knew about one that he'd already answered, but I think he got a bit greedy there. The tokens were just a great insurance policy against the Lilianas. Or find another Drowner as well. It's just very, very good there. So Raging Ravine gets in for 4. Tim down to 9. He just passes back again. Liliana ticks up, gets rid of a Path to Exile, unfortunately for Tim. 5 this time. Tim down to 4. He needs something here. What does he find? He does not find it. He is done. Tim is going to fall in our quarterfinals here.